the DuPont Company, maker of those two quality antifreezes, Zerone and Zerex, presents Frank Leahy and his football forecast. And here he is, America's foremost football authority, who led Boston College and Notre Dame to victory for 13 years, Frank Leahy.
Welcome to our show, sports fans. Games, forecasts, and special features coming up. But first, a suggestion to those who may want to save some money this fall. Get your copy, which causes us to select one team over another. Our data and research indicate the following results. Here are my analyses of this week's games as narrated by Paul Masterson. Off the bench fumble, let's swing into action.
Rice on the left suffered their fifth straight defeat last week. A win Saturday over TCU, however, would all but eradicate this discouraging record. Here's an example of explosive running by an owl back that would help do the trick. Whenever two Southwest Conference teams get together, anything is liable to happen. For example, here's an owl running almost the entire length of the field to add 6 points to the scoreboard. Their opponents, Texas Christian, also on the left, leads the conference in total offense, chalking up 2,333 yards in their first 7 games. After their star back, Jim Swink, picks up 15 yards. Another Longhorn back, Charlie Curtis, scores.
TCU to outscore Rice.
Here's a fumble caused by a hard-charging Iowa lineman. Let's find out how it happened. Keep your eye on Iowa's end, Jim Gibbons, as he bolts through the line, warding off one blocker after another. He's passed 1, 2, and he gets his man. It's Iowa's ball deep in their opponent's territory. Now a tricky Iowa play with the fullback handing to the quarterback. The cameraman, as well as the opponents, didn't know that the quarterback kept the ball, and he gets a pass away for a touchdown. Let's watch the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in their battle with Navy. Here's halfback Jim Morse and a handoff from Paul Horning for a 10-yard gain. Now their other halfback find, who is destined to become one of Notre Dame's all-time greats, sophomore Aubrey Lewis, who makes another Irish touchdown. This should be an exciting game.
Notre Dame will be victorious over Iowa.
Here, Kentucky in white shows the ability to choose the right play to gain those very big yards close to the goal line. This time, Kentucky's quarterback finds the hole and powers through for a touchdown. Their opponents this week, the Tennessee Volunteers, have a great halfback, John Majors, shown here receiving this punt. He's 7th in total offense with better than 800 yards to his credit. Opponents slide right off his back as he treks down the sidelines, picking up blockers as he goes. After losing their first 2, the Volunteers are since unbeaten, and a win over Kentucky and Vanderbilt next week may earn them a bid to a bowl game this year.
My choice is Tennessee to win over Kentucky.
The Princeton Tigers in black demonstrate a neat bit of now you see it, now you don't ball handling to fool the opposition and score. The Dartmouth Indians, shown here in white on defense, have intercepted 8 passes this year. Here's one deep in enemy territory. Interceptions at the right time often mean the difference between winning and losing. Last week, the Indians upset Cornell 7-0.
Princeton over Dartmouth.
Fourth ranked in the nation, UCLA, shown here on the left, has fullbacks who bowl over opponents with their up-the-middle thrusts. UCLA, who missed being upset by a last-quarter field goal at the hands of Washington, 19-17 last Saturday, also lost the services of their star tailback Ronnie Knox with an injured leg. The players to watch on your TV screen Saturday are tailback Sam Brown and fullback Bob Davenport. Their opponents and crosstown rivals, Southern California, shown here ready to receive this punt in their snowy game against Minnesota this year, leads the nation in punt and kickoff returns with over 1,200 yards to their credit this season. The man to look out for is their great All-American candidate, John Arnett, who has a better than 19-yard average for every punt he's returned. This one is good for a 95-yard touchdown. Regardless of the outcome Saturday, UCLA will represent the West in the Rose Bowl this year.
UCLA to win this one from USC.
Here's SMU in last year's Baylor game. This Southwest Conference battle has produced some rip-roaring thrills. In the 37 games played, SMU leads by 4, 17 wins to 13, with 7 ties. Here's a goal line view of SMU. The quarterback, running into a stone wall, trying to make those few inches to a touchdown, says to himself, if I can't go through him, I'll go around him. And the result, 6 points for the Mustangs. The Baylor Bears, shown here in black, have played good ball one week and poor the next. They lost to Texas by 1 point 2 weeks ago and had a bye last Saturday. This should be a close game with possibly a fumble or an intercepted pass spelling the difference. Now here's a slow-motion shot of the Baylor backs with churning legs that don't stop till they've scored.
SMU will edge Baylor. In a moment, more teams in action. But now, I'd like to have you meet Tom McCahill, famous automotive expert of Mechanics Illustrated magazine, well known for his car performance tests.
And now here's Frank Leahy's weekly feature, Pigskin Pointers.
In this show, Pigskin Pointers brings you information on the defenses which have been most effective in various situations. The 5-3 is used when a forward pass is anticipated. This defense provides 6 defenders against the pass. The 5-4 is a very good defense against a running play. It takes the safety man out of the middle, but adds an extra linebacker. The 6-2 is a pretty solid and safe defense against almost any offensive weapon because it gives a good balance to defend against runs or passes. The 7 or diamond is used against a strong running attack. It's difficult to run against a defense which has so many men up front. The 8-man line usually is the goal line stand.
Michigan, shown here on offense, has an erratic record as a passing team. Against Army, they take to the air. And it's completed. Oh, what a collision! But he caught it anyway. What a way to make a first down. Keep your eye on Ohio State's left guard, Jim Parker, as he diagnoses his opponent's play beautifully. He makes contact, the opponent fumbles, and with one arm, Jim reaches up and pulls it down. A fumble that hasn't yet touched the ground is played as an intercepted pass and can be run with by the defensive team. Jim Parker makes no mistake. He turns tail and heads downfield for a 45-yard touchdown. This tough game will decide the conference championship.
Michigan should defeat Ohio State.
Yale in dark jerseys was the pride of the Ivy League until handed a loss by Princeton last week. They also lost to Colgate, but upset the powerful cadets of West Point 14-12 2 weeks ago. Yale has become quite the passing team of late, totaling 700 yards gained through the air in their 8 games to date. Here's another completed pass from sophomore Dick Winterbauer to Ellsworth Morgan. This rivalry is one of the nation's oldest, dating back to 1875. Here we see the Crimson Tide of Harvard with Matt Botsford unsuccessfully trying an end sweep, but he's forced out of bounds. The next play calls for a similar tactic, but instead of going around, Botsford goes inside to score. The Bostonians should beware of Eli's aerial attack Saturday.
I pick Yale to down Harvard.
Missouri on the left, although showing a poor 1-win and 8-loss record, has played some inspiring ball. Here's a lateral at the last minute to a teammate who's Johnny on the spot to gather it in and keep the offensive rolling on for another 25 yards. Missouri was upset by Kansas State last week. Kansas, shown here on the right, winner over Oklahoma A&M 12-7, takes to the air. The Jayhawks' chief problem this year has been a need of a better-than-ordinary quarterback, as well as wide improvement in overall defense. To be victorious Saturday, they'll have to stymie the efforts of the country's #1 pass receiver, Missouri's Harold Bernine. However, Missouri had better beware of passes like this by the Jayhawks.
I pick Missouri over Kansas.
Nebraska in white has shown vast improvement since their season opener against the University of Hawaii and have managed to win their last 3 ball games, defeating Missouri 18-12 and Colorado 37-20 last Saturday. Here's a completed pass that takes them just short of the goal line. Just one of 31 passes completed so far this year. Oklahoma, shown here on the left, #1 in the nation, is credited with the fastest squad. Their all-around speed and offensive depth, topped by the will to win, have kept the Sooners scoring in 103 consecutive games. They haven't been beaten in 28 starts, losing last to Notre Dame in 1953. But a great team is not all offense. And here's a shot of the Sooners on defense as their top-notch center, Jerry Tubbs, shown here, demonstrates why they're number one with bone-crushing tackles like this. Little wonder they'll be in the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day.
Oklahoma over Nebraska. I'll have additional forecasts right after a quick trip from Death Valley to Pikes Peak. Some additional games that may be of interest to you. Boston U, Temple. Pick Boston U. Bucknell, Delaware. Pick Delaware. Holy Cross, Connecticut. Pick Holy Cross. Lafayette, Leahy. Pick Leahy. Penn State, Pittsburgh. Pick Pittsburgh. Rutgers, Columbia. Pick Columbia. Syracuse, West Virginia. Pick Syracuse.
This program has been selected to be shown to our armed forces overseas.